Over the past 5 years, the South Africa Investment Conference has sought to raise South Africa's profile as an investment destination and create a platform for engagement between government and investors. This drive to increase investment is aimed at creating sustainable economic growth and job creation. President Cyril Ramaphosa launched this initiative in 2018 with the express purpose of improving the business environment by reducing bureaucratic hurdles and making it easier for businesses to operate and invest in the country, as well as creating opportunities for Black industrialists. The implementation of policy reforms over the subsequent years and ongoing engagement with investors about the challenges that they face has supported business confidence and contributed to the announcement of over 231 investment pledges worth over 1.14 trillion rand committed, achieving 95% of the original investment target. Of the projects initiated, 85 have been completed and 76 are currently under construction.
Last year, the 4th South African Investment Conference raised 367 billion in investment commitments, bringing our 5-year investment target firmly within sight. Over the last year, many of these commitments have resulted in the companies that made these commitments investing in new factories, call centers, solar power plants, undersea fiber optic cables.
South Africa has one of the most open economies in the world. While the COVID-19 pandemic and geopolitical events have affected our prospects, many companies across the economy have shown resilience and are implementing their ambitious plans. Let us hear directly from some of these companies as they share how they've converted their pledges into economic activity. The mining sector is well established and highly developed, with emerging and junior miners also playing a role, especially in exploration. 8.1% of South Africa's GDP came from the sector in 2022, supporting more than 475,000 jobs. The sector has highly developed and diversified resource assets, considered one of the most valuable in the world. The country is also among the pioneers in swap-level mining, and that is where companies like Vedanta, Ivanhoe, Anglo-American, Bushveld Minerals and Renewable come in.
Renewable is an emerging natural gas and helium explorer. Let's tell you a bit more about their pledges and their impact. Right, Stefano Morani and Nick Mitchell, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. Renewable is hoping to position itself as a front runner in the industry. Tell us a bit more about the impact you're hoping to make.
Sure. We started with a small pilot plant, CNG project. We turned that live in 2016. We started developing a larger phase 1 project, which has become commonly known as the Virginia Gas Project now.
So we made the very first pledge some years ago. That was for 750 million rand. That's now fully invested. At last year's conference, we announced a pledge. We made a further pledge to build phase 2 of the Virginia Gas Project, which was going to be a 13 billion rand project.
In October 2018, Vedanta, located in Gamsberg in the Northern Cape province, pledged 21 billion rand at the South Africa Investment Conference.
Vedanta has a significant plan to grow in South Africa.
They have delivered on their commitment with an initial investment of 6.5 billion rand towards Gamsberg Phase 1, which is now fully operational and has created about 1,500 jobs. They have also approved a further 7 billion rand towards Gamsberg Phase 2, which will create a further 1,500 jobs. The ICT sector, which includes telecommunications companies, has been resilient in ensuring that the country remains connected. This sector has proven consistently dynamic, with annual income within the region of about 243 billion rand in 2021. National network coverage has increased to about 97% due to the investments by companies in the sector, including Vodacom, Google, Telkom, MTN, and Rain.
Mobile networks in South Africa have an incredible role to play in ensuring we're not only growing our economy, but also creating many indirect jobs. Let's go in, get you a sense of how they're hoping will make South Africa work. Vodacom has also been involved in this kind of initiative since the very beginning. In fact, you've got a lot of skin in the game, as they say. Why is that so important for you?
Our involvement in small businesses, our involvement in connecting businesses makes a huge change. We've done some really specific things from the start of our commitment of the investment conference. Over 61 rural areas have been covered with connectivity on our part, and so that drive continues to ensure that no one gets left behind because of the impact that this has and the opportunities it provides to people with connectivity.
Thanks for speaking to us.
Thank you, and appreciate it. Cheers.
Now, those in the know will tell you that information and data is probably the commodity of the day. There's been great excitement around this sea cable, which has already been here in South Africa and has been in other countries on the continent. Tell us a bit more about that and how it fits into what you've essentially outlined.
It's a cable that connects Africa to the rest of the world. This particular one brings faster, affordable, reliable internet access from Portugal. So the cable landed in September 2022, and it's 144 terabyte per second cable. So in October 2021, we pledged $1 billion across the African continent over 5 years. And a big part of that is the infrastructure stuff that you and I spoke about, right. The Equiano subsea cable, the cloud region.
Absolutely.
The manufacturing sector employs over 1.2 million people and contributed more than 13.4% to South Africa's GDP in 2022. The sector is characterized by a diversified industrial structure with large subsectors, including food processing, beverages, plus machinery and equipment, which have posted strong growth since 2000. A number of black industrialists have emerged in the sector and have shown themselves to be a force to be reckoned with. Companies like Dalisu, Pharmaceutical, Unica, and BT Industrial have, together with many other multinational companies, recently taken the lead in making investment pledges in line with the presidential investment drive.
Procter & Gamble has been investing in South Africa's economy from the very beginning of this particular initiative. All right, Timmy Tope, Alicia, and Pindile, it's so wonderful being in your space. Thanks very much indeed for having us in this bustling environment. And you know, as we watch everybody do their work, one can't forget that P&G has been involved in this kind of initiative from the very beginning. Why was it so important for you to do that?
So our operations, generate jobs.
So leading a total of about 80 people, I feel really valued as not only an employee, but a female.
And on this journey, over the last 5 years alone, Procter & Gamble has invested over 800 million rand in this site here. So in our manufacturing journey, it started with the 2018 pledge for 300 million rand, and we built lines here on the Pampers brand. We then expanded it to Always, and then just in last year's conference, we made a pledge for 250 million rand to start manufacturing our Ariel laundry liquid locally, and we really look forward to welcoming President Ramaphosa to commission the site very soon.
The South African automotive industry is an important sector of the country's economy, contributing significantly to its GDP and providing employment opportunities for many people. The South African government launched the Automotive Master Plan, which aims to increase local vehicle production to 1% of global production by 2035. Some of the key players in the sector include big multinationals such as Toyota, VW, and Mercedes-Benz, and these have created opportunities for black industrialists such as VM Automotives and MCR Plastics, who are manufacturers of high-quality automotive components.
Now, the Toyota story is one of resilience, commitment, and unimaginable creativity. The plant where we stand now wasn't even inhabitable just a few months ago because of a number of challenges. But let's find out what exactly they do. There are a few, facts and figures I know you'll throw in a moment, but let's talk a bit more about that investment journey. That Corolla Cross has been a big part of it. Take us through where it began and where it is now.
Okay, so the project basically kicked off in 2019. It was a 2.6 billion rand project, and basically we planned it for a 36-month project lead time. As we got into it, we decided to reduce it down to 24 months. So we had to launch by October 21. That was the plan to get it through.
We had riots, and we had the big one, the floods. We went through a hell of a lot, but we survived, and we'll still continue to survive.
Pharmaceutical companies played a critical role during the COVID-19 pandemic and supported South Africa in fighting the impact of a global health crisis. The adverse consequences of the pandemic, such as vaccine inequity and supply chain disruptions, have spurred companies to focus on localization and the opportunities it presents for growth.
We're at Pharmaceutical and they work in the pharmaceutical space. So let's step inside, get your sense of what they do and how their pledge has been spent. Let's start by just understanding why it was so important for you to be part of those making this pledge.
Pledges like this will enhance more industrial development, more growth in the country. And so in 2019, we made a pledge of 100 million to that extent, but then we were stuck with the disaster of COVID. So we couldn't do it in 2020 and 2021. We started again the project of the pledge that we made of 100 million, 105 million to be precise. Further to that, we also invested further 100 million in terms of other areas that we want to upgrade. We want to enhance capacities, which will also create jobs. As we increase our lines, as we expand our business, the job opportunities increase.
The energy sector is a key focus of attention in South Africa as the country faces the challenges of load shedding and energy insecurity. This crisis has also created opportunities for the development of innovative solutions. The rollout of the Renewable Energy Independent Power Producers Procurement Program a decade ago established the benchmark for such projects, and after an interruption in the mid-2010s is now well underway and producing power at lower costs both in value and to the environment. This program is likely to see renewable electricity generation capacity increase substantially to about 16,800 megawatts by 2030, almost a quarter of the country's overall installed capacity. Government's initiatives have created space for increased competition in electricity generation, including by private companies such as Scatec and Aqua Power. We caught up with Sitati from Scatec.
Thanks very much indeed for coming over. It's lovely to have you with us, especially because there is so much to be said about where renewable energy is. Let's talk about why it was so important for you to invest in this country through the pledge you've been able to make.
South Africa is a core focus market for us for a number of reasons. One, we believe in the development trajectory of the country. We believe in the renewable energy procurement program. Our solar PV plant in the Northern Cape was actually the first utility scale solar PV to be connected to the grid, and that was back in 2012 already. And so we've been a very happy participant in the IPP procurement process, and since then we've even built 6 operating plants. So the pledge that we made last year at the investment conference was for 16.4 billion rands investment. And as I said, that primarily went into the risk mitigation power procurement program. Specifically, we've invested in a 540 megawatt solar PV project. It also has 225 megawatts of battery energy storage solution.
So when we speak about solar, typically a lot of people think of, PV solar panels that you put on top of your roof, but you guys are working on a completely different scale. So maybe let's start there. Sure. Tell us a bit more about the plant and how it operates.
Well, the Redstone solar thermal plant, it's a solar thermal plant, which is the difference between PV and solar thermal. The solar thermal actually uses the heat of the sun to generate electricity. So it's almost like your normal conventional thermal power plants, but replacing your fuel source of coal or oil or gas with the power of the sun.
Tell us a bit more about the pledge you've made and the impact you're hoping to have.
It's an 11 billion rand project. It covers a 100 megawatt capacity CSP tower facility, which like thermal plants can run 24/7. But the pledge was more than just energy. It was more towards assisting socio-economic development in the area, which we have been doing successfully, and which of course this project will do. So we are embedded in the community for 35 years, and the benefits of this project, both from the energy as well as all of the socio-economic investments that we will be making along the way, is going to be humongous.
So Ayanda, you were on the ground conducting engagements and interviews. What were some of the key takeouts?
Sachaba, it's been phenomenal. Often there's a lot of excitement when the pledges are made, but sometimes there's a concern that it's nothing but the numbers that are speaking. We've been on the ground, we've watched how these manifest into projects and how those initiatives change the material conditions of the people who rely on them, the people working on the ground. Certainly can't wait to see what else is in store.
Fantastic. Here's to moving forward.